Hi and welcome to my channel. Now normally I do old i5 vintage stuff, anything vintage really I can lay my hands on and bring back some old memories really, but today is bringing back a little bit of an old memory for me because I do like the old video games, the old I used to go back to years, the old Atari 2600 and the old Atari 800, all that kind of stuff. That's what I kind of grew up on. And I remember going back then thinking, oh, it would be great to program my own game, and I remember getting the 2600 basic cartridge and the bloke in the shop said to me, better program your own Space Invaders with this. Of course you couldn't do nothing like that with that cartridge, but I've always been interested in making up a game for myself kind of thing, and I think I've actually programmed that, something I've done, and look back and you get enjoyment out of doing it. But this is about making apps and ideas and that for absolute beginners, and maybe what to expect and maybe what not to expect, that kind of thing. So if you know anything about apps and that you've been making up, this is probably not for you, though hopefully I may give you a couple of ideas maybe where to get some ideas to make some games from. That's going to come up in the video. But the reason I'm putting this video together really is that I think you see a lot of adverts saying, programmers wanted, once you've done the programming you're guaranteed this is a 3-year course, a 4-year course, all that kind of stuff. And there's a few colleagues where I used to work that actually done these courses, and one for about 6 months, one for about a year, and there's on this kind of false hope, I think, that there's going to become a really good programmer and plenty of money. But I don't think it's quite the case really. I mean, one of them there been there about a year and he's actually struggling because they do give you assignments, something like make a simple database, and one of them was struggling just to make a simple game of Pong where you've got the bat and ball going up and down the screen and the ball going in between them. So not that simple. I mean, some people are going to grasp things very quickly and some people are going to take their time. So anyway, just a very few couple of statistics here. On the Google Play Store at the moment, it's about 3.5 million apps at the moment, and out of them 3.5 million on there, about 3,800 get uploaded every day. And your chances of you becoming a successful app, they reckon, is 1 in 100. Your app being successful is about 1 in 100. I think it's probably higher than that when they say successful. I'm not too sure exactly what kind of money they mean. Talking about money, it's only the top 200 apps, it's the top 200 apps on that store out of 3.5 million. Earn about $80,000 a day income through ads and all that kind of stuff. Top 800, that comes all the way down to 3,000 a day. I say 3,000 a day. You like to be earning 3,000 a day. I like to be earning 3,000 a year at this rate I'm going at the moment. But anyway, so yeah, it's still a fair amount. But obviously, as soon as you start coming down to 10,000, 100,000 apps, they're going to whittle way down to next to nothing kind of thing. So okay, I mean, I've been looking and people say it's best to run the ads rather than charge for the actual app, because not many people like spending money on an app. They rather watch the ads and get the app for nothing. So that's something to bear in mind. It's just a couple of % that don't mind paying, where the rest of them want it for free. So something to bear in mind. So of course you're going to make these apps, you're going to start off from scratch. You've got to say this is for a complete newbie, a complete beginner in that. So I'm not going to tell you what program to go and buy or to take up. A lot of these apps are done in CC, all different Java. It's all different kind of platforms to go on, and it's some basic ones, and that's what I learnt with basic. So I think you've got to really, at this particular stage, is make your mind up maybe that are you going to make these apps to make money, or are you just doing them for a bit of fun? So I'm going to probably side with the fun bit, but if you're going to make them to make money, some ideas here still may come across, may be able to help you out. So first of all, you've got to find the program you want, to go and have a look which program you're going to use. And some of these programs you could buy for a one-off fee, £30–40, something like that here in the UK, pound-wise, or you may have to lease them kind of thing. You pay a yearly subscription for the program. Some of them are free as well. There is some free ones. So go and find the one that you're attracted to. And when I say that, I'd look to see if there's plenty of demos on that particular. For instance, this here is written in Play Basic. It's an old kind of, even though it's still about Play Basic, there's not many people on that forum now to what they used to be, but it's still for sale. And the bloke there running it, Kevin, is absolutely fantastic. I must say that. I'm not advertising for him or nothing like that. I'm just saying he's fantastic. If you've got any problems, he will come and help you, even though it's probably going to be a few people about now on that particular forum. So what I'd look is for some demos. He includes some demos. There's another one I use called AGK app. These are basic apps. These are where it's actually written in basic, where C++ and that is a kind of basic. It's got some basic words in it, but I think you've got to go, like I say, and have a look. But what I would look at is see if they give you any demos, because the demos are very, very helpful, especially if you're a complete newbie. Is that you can start loading up the demo, seeing what it does, a very basic demo, see what it does and alter some things and see what that does, and it gives you an idea of how the program's working, shall we say. So yeah, see if they've got some demos, the forums there's going to be people there to help you if you get stuck, and you are going to get stuck. Go and have a look at some of the replies that people put up there at the moment, some of the questions they put up and the replies they're getting back, and seeing how long they're waiting for a reply, all that kind of stuff, because it's no good if you get stuck with something, how to print something on the screen or something. You put a post up and no one there to help you whatsoever. But bear in mind that, go and have a look at what the replies are, see if you can understand what the reply is, just basic stuff, putting stuff on the screen or moving something about, something like that, some basic stuff. 2D, I'm not talking about anything 3D here, this is all 2D stuff. You start moving into 3D, it gets a lot more complicated. Just get the basic roots here at the moment, really. So go and have a look around and see if they're getting replies, and helpful replies, because you will get on some of these forums where the reply comes back by an expert. See, this is where I'm not an expert, though I can still make a little game up like this. Nothing fantastic, you know what I mean, but it's a little game. But these experts suddenly come back with something that's going to bamboozle you. You're not going to have a clue. I mean, to them it's nothing. It's just a straight, this is easy. Oh, I see, what do you want to do? I want to do that. Oh, this is easy. Boom, 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 there you go. That's all you've got to do. And you think, oh, I ain't got a clue what he's on about. That's not much good, because you're not going to learn anywhere. So you want it in layman's terms, some nice easy terms. So look about for them replies on the forums that people maybe come back with. Like I say, you want some demos, you want some forums there to help you out. You want the specs. Have a look at the app, what specs it needs, and get yourself a second-hand maybe machine just to do the games on. They're not that expensive, and most of these compilers apps, depending which you're going to use here, don't need a very fast machine. You can get some good results on a very basic machine. So see what the basic specs are. Make sure you've got a PC or can get a PC that will handle that. Yeah, and have a look around to see if they've got any programs that's already been done. Some of these sites may give you some demos of some stuff that people have already done. Gives you an idea what it's probably capable of as well. But like I say, if you're just doing it for fun, it's going to take time to learn it. It's not a 5-minute wonder, though obviously like anything else, some people pick up in 5 minutes. Some people take 5 years. I've been reading about, before I've done this, different forums and that I've been looking at. And like anything else in life, I've seen some people saying that he's had the app, or he's had this program, depending which one it is, maybe C++ or something like that. He's been programming for 5 years and he's still struggling. He hasn't brought out a game yet, or he hasn't brought an application out yet. Well, another bloke said, I've been on it 2 weeks and I made a game in 2 weeks. So it's very, you know what I mean, it's going to be like it's your speed kind of thing. So now once you actually get the program all up and running, you're going to learn the basic words. Make sure you can find out what the words are. It's the commands for the program. You want to find out, sometimes they write a book. Some will write a book. You better get a book with all the commands in, which is fantastic, because then you can program on the screen and you've got your book. You can see what this command does, that command. But a lot of them are going to be on the screen. You're going to have to kind of flick through some web pages or something like that to find out the commands, how you're actually supposed to type them in, and how you're supposed to set them out. You have to put certain spaces in and all that kind of stuff. So make sure the commands are easy enough for you to understand, and also you can access them. You know where they are. If you get stuck, that kind of thing, you can back reference and all that kind of stuff on the command. So yeah, make sure you can easily get hold of that. No good buying a program and you're going to be struggling to find out what the commands actually do, and try and find something you may be it's not going to be easy, but maybe you can kind of understand. Like I say, this is where basic definitely comes in, because it's written in English, so to speak, rather than a foreign language. Even though C++ and other language, other programs have that element of English in it, it's more straightforward. It's more. There are other programs are more shorthand, shall we say, where these are more written in plain English. Okay, so once you've actually got the program and everything, you're going to start mucking about. You're going to do a few lines, print your name and all that. Eventually you're going to move on and you're going to want to start to maybe make a game or an application, maybe a database, but we're talking about games here in this particular video. I won't be talking about databases in that anyway, but just talking about games. You need to get some graphics, some assets, not unless you can draw yourself. If you can draw yourself, that's fantastic. Maybe get a program called paint.net, and it's worth having that program installed anyway, even if you're getting assets. So these assets, there's different sites you can go to. Just type in game assets. You can go to sites where you can buy them as a one-off payment. There may be a monthly fee, all that kind of stuff. I find a one-off payment of about £5 great. You've got the assets there, and when I say assets, it's these things here. It's like the backgrounds that's been drawn out. It's the little characters here, like this little fox, for instance. It's the animation frames. It's these coins spinning around here, the animation frames for them coins and that. You want to get your assets to make the game look nice. Obviously, this is in low resolution. Yeah, this has been done 10 years ago. This game, so in an high resolution, it'll look a lot sharper than that. And now you want your ideas as well. And for ideas, this is one of the reasons, or main reason actually for the video as well. The ideas is, where do you get your ideas from for these games? You know, some people just make some ideas up. They're going to come up with some ideas and that. But I'll tell you what a good place is to actually backtrack is to look at these old games, these old systems, something like the old Atari 800, Atari 400, 800, the Commodore 64, computers like that. Just look at some of their old back catalogue of games, and they're very basic games that you can just maybe update the graphics maybe a little and just have a basic game. And a lot of these games they make on the old App Store and that are very, I mean, like these Angry Birds, not Angry Birds, the Flappy Birds, shall I say. It's a very basic game. It's just the bird flapping up and down, dodging the obstacles and that. So it's a basic game. It's got no, it's not got real guts to it, kind of thing. It's not a complicated game. Very straightforward. And a lot of kind of these games are about them old systems because they're very small amount of memory. Them systems had, so they had to do a fairly basic small game. So it's well worth looking at. So what I'm going to show you here is an old game called Stellar Shuttle on the Atari 400. This is the kind of game you could make up yourself. So let me just show you that video. Okay, here's one game that may fit the bill. It's a very straightforward and simple game. Wouldn't take a lot of programming. You could update the graphics, of course, and make it your own kind of game. But this is the, you know, the fundamental basics of that game. So here we go. We've got a spaceship at the top, and we've got to come down and rescue these little men down the bottom. So we're going to let it out the hatch. Going to dodge these asteroids. Going to bring it down nice and gently. And now we're going to take it up to the top. There. It does have a thrust on here, so I can actually thrust this, but I can't remember what button it is. So hopefully we're going to get away without using the thrust here, without bumping into any rocks here. Let's get that one out of the way. So there you go. We get our man back at the top, and that's one rescued. And it just starts again. You've got to come down and rescue the other men. So this is called Stellar Shuttle, a fairly basic game. So that's one there. Just have a little look at. This is another game on the 400. This was called Po Yan, and it's a game that I actually done a remake of. So here's the original Po Yan. Okay, this game's called Po Yan. This is a game that I did actually convert. I'll show you that conversion just after I show you this first little level. And basically all we've got to do is stop these foxes hitting the ground by bursting their balloons. Because if they do get to the ground, they walk along the bottom, as you can see, and they climb the ladder here, and then they will get me. So I've got to be a bit careful. And there they come up the ladder. You may be able just to be able to work it out. They come across. Oh, and they've caught me there. So yeah, this is Po Yan. Just show you once more. I did a remake of this because the graphics are pretty poor here. So that's one thing you could improve on, is the graphics. To be honest with you, it wouldn't take a lot of improvement. As you can see, they're quite blocky here, not that well defined, but still playable and still a good game. Game I enjoyed playing many years ago now. You've got to dodge the apples they're thrown at you as well, so it's quite involved. It's quite a good little game. It was back then, and I thought if I just do a little remake I could maybe try and make it a little bit better, maybe update the graphics or something like that. So just another idea, looking back at these old games, that may give you an idea of coming up with a game yourself, or you could loosely base it around one of these games. And here's my remake of Po Yan. Let's go. Let's start it off. Press the space bar. There's my pig in the right hand side there, firing the arrows. He's got to stop the foxes coming down to the bottom. If not, they're going to come up here and creep up and start doing some fire at me. So I'll just get a couple killed first of all, and I'll show you a couple actually reaching the bottom as well, so you can see what happens when they reach the bottom. Got to dodge the rocks they're throwing. And as you can see, they're firing from the left hand, sorry, the right hand side, fire at me. So I've got to stand there to be safe. Dodge everything else, and a lot of them are coming from all angles here, so I'm in a bit of a pickle, but lucky enough I've cleared that wave, believe it or not. So now they do the opposite, they actually come down from the bottom and go upwards. And I've got to stop 4 of them reaching the top, because if 4 of them reach the top before the wave's over, this is how many people, how many in the wave, how many foxes are in the wave. They go across the top here, and 4 of them will push that boulder and hit me on the head with it. So if we let 4 of them go up to the top, that's 3. Still got to dodge these rocks they're throwing. In fact, in the original game it was apples, so I should have stuck with apples actually, but I ended up doing rocks. Here we go. One big boulder, and that's me dead. So that's my little retake on that game, just up the graphics, but pretty much the same kind of game. Now, like I say, that was games ideas that I kind of got from old Atari. I mean, that Stellar Shuttle may be a game later on I may actually do myself, update the graphics and that. But other places to get ideas is platform games. You may see a platform game, just see a stage in a platform game, a Nintendo game or something like that, and you think, oh, that's not a bad game, I could just use that stage and chop it about a bit and do some little bits and pieces with that. Nintendo games like WarioWare, something like that, it's got all them mini games, or Mario Party, all them little mini games. Maybe just think of just using one of them mini games and just expanding it a little bit into a game where the levels just keep repeating itself, gets slightly harder, something like that. A bit like this game here actually, just time that right, where jumping through, dodging fire and jumping along the platform and all that. Maybe you could just do a simple game like that, different levels, different things come along, but basically all the same, but just upping the level, making it a little bit harder next time, and pardon me, you come to play it, as the levels progress. So there's a few different ways of coming up with some game ideas, some simple-ish game ideas to get you started learning the program, etc. So, and what I will say also is that most of these games on phones, the two games I made, I'll put them right at the end of the video so you can have a little look, is actually done this way, horizontal, where I should have really done them vertically. Most people play their games on a phone if you're going to do some apps vertically, but that's a long way off, like I say. Just got to learn the structure, building your program up. I mean, my program's pretty ugly, shall I say. I'm not very neat at writing programs, so don't worry too much about that, because this game here is not very neat. When you actually look at the program itself, the way it's been all laid out, it's not very neat. But it still works, it still gets the job done. So like I say, this is really about getting ideas, looking at these old games and that, or sub-games in other games, to maybe come up with your little concept, your little idea of making a game. But another thing I will say as well, sorry I don't want to keep it too long, is that if you've already got an idea, if you think, well, I've got a fantastic idea here, I just want to learn how to program, it's going to take your time, and if you think you've really got a good idea, then maybe just get hold of a programmer instead. Get your idea, get a program, and maybe even find, if you haven't got your own assets, you can't make them yourself and no one's actually done them, maybe you could employ someone to do the assets for you. And talking about assets, I did miss it out in that little bit earlier, is that if you go to these forums, wherever you buy the program from, depending what program it is, you're probably going to find someone there that's actually a graphics artist anyway. They kind of linger about on them forums, and they suddenly may spot a game that someone's doing, or an idea, and want to get involved. And they want to send your graphics over, which I've been lucky with. These are not my graphics, these are not assets, these are the graphics that someone sent me, like I say, about 10 years ago now. Put my idea into action kind of thing. I couldn't draw none of the drawings, and he wanted to get involved just by pretty much drawing everything there you see on the screen is his artwork. So and all for free. He just wanted to he's practicing himself, so he's getting some benefit out of it, because I'm kind of saying I want something like this. He's going to come up with the ideas. So between us, we're kind of learning between us. He's learning how to draw. He's getting more experience there. So then people are about on the forums. That's what I want to say. So look out for them. You may spot a couple of them, and if you've got a good game idea, they may jump across and help you out. Okay, so that's it. So what I would say is, don't expect to do this overnight. I mean, some people pick up faster than others, obviously, but don't expect to do it overnight. Just take your time and maybe forget about earning some money and just do it for the enjoyment of yourself, because there's nothing better. And it's good playing these games, you go and buy one of the latest games in the PlayStation 5 or something like that, but actually program it yourself. It may be a lot basicer, but to program it yourself and sit back and think, right, I actually done that, it's a lot more enjoyment. It's amazing how much enjoyment it is, so it's well worth the effort, I think. Okay, thanks for watching. Just got to rescue the people out of the building. Got to rescue more than get killed. So, oh, not very good there. Oh, let's see how we got on. Oh, just about qualified for the next round. So tap the screen, the buildings get bigger. We got a bird going across there, which makes it a little bit more awkward. And later on the levels, that bird starts dropping eggs, and there's more than one bird in other levels. You get fog coming across. the control systems the opposite way round, all stuff like that, just to vary the game a little. But basically it's all the same, and this doesn't take a lot of program and can be converted to come on the App Store, which this is here on the actual App Store. Well, was on the App Store, I've took it off since, but that gives you some kind of idea. So it's last bloke. And as you can see, 2 birds now, and in later levels they will drop eggs just to make it harder, and obviously the egg hits you, he knocks you off your ladder, just knock yourself off the ladder. Another fireman, and you get 3 lives. So that gives you an idea of what that game is about, fairly straightforward. Okay, the next one's another app that's not so exciting again, but we'll run it anyway. This is called Clowns and Balloons. Let's get it up and running. So there you go. It's a little demo screen, this. You probably recognise maybe some of these from these demo screens. They're kind of like old arcade games where it would go into a demo. Not all apps do this. Some of them just come back onto the main screen. But I thought I'd have a little demo running here. Don't know why, because it's not going to be set sitting in an arcade where people walk past and think, oh, what's all that about? But I just thought it was a little bit of a different touch. Anyway, so we're going to start here. And all we got to do is catch our clown and burst the balloons. I think in this one we got to get 13 green or something like that. So we're just going to show those red balloons, but looks of it, because it's in red at the top. 8. I think we've got to get 15 reds to progress. Oh, I missed it there. 15 red balloons, yeah. So we get 3 lives. It's going to pop up. Probably going to get a couple on the way there. And there we go. That stage is complete. We've got our 15 balloons. Now we've got to get 15 blue balloons, and you tilt it this way and that way. Later on the screen darkens, all different things to make it a little bit harder. The controls are opposite. And different things, a few different things, like I say, night time, the balloons kind of like disappear, they're faded, all different stuff, just to try and add something different to each level. But there you go, so another basic game that, you know, is a game that maybe you want to start off just to learn your programming. There we go, in reverse control, so now I've got to tilt it the opposite way. But it gives you an idea there of what this game's all about.